Ladies and gentlemen, it is once again my supreme pleasure to introduce to you South Florida's Mr. Folk, Michael Stock. And Mike, well, I gotta tell you, it's getting harder and harder to keep up with your sense of timing on that banjo.
Thank you,
I tell you. You're just getting into all these abstract things. It's really amazing.
Well, thank you
You're
very
really
much.
blazing new trails on that banjo, you know.
And on the Jaws harp, my co-host on the Jaws harp.
Needs a consistent sense of time. Oh, boy.
Thank you. Allan Poe, Edgar Allan Poe IV on the Jaws harp as my co-host. And welcome to New Traditions. On this program, we're broadcast right here in Dade County. We're taping here in Dade County, and we're introducing to you your friends and neighbors, people who live down here and who are in the performing arts. And we call the show New Traditions because we want to stay traditional. At the same time, we want to be new and original. So we call it New Traditions, and we generally ask all our guests to perform some original music. Today's guests are Sam Ariff, comedy writer, and also Jim Collier, guitar, singer, songwriter. And Allan, do you have any news? Well, ask me.
I do, Mike, but you didn't want me to talk about it.
No, we don't have time for that. You wanted to talk about a concert, so we don't have time because we have a busy show. But I do want to ask you about your jacket here.
Jacket? What about it?
Actually, before we do that, let me talk about our shirts. We have our shirt segment,
Let's talk about the shirts.
We do have, I want to wear your T-shirt. I want to wear your T-shirt on this show and expose it to everybody in the county. And on today's program, I'm wearing a shirt from the Dade Heritage Days. This is a 1989. It's a rather current shirt, actually.
Looks a little better if you pull this part up here.
It's no, it's Dade Heritage Trust. It's the shirt for the Dade Heritage Days here in Dade County, talking about our history. And as we talk, the history is getting older and older, Allan.
Yeah.
And
life is like that, Mr. Stock.
What's your shirt say, Mr. Poe?
Well, you know, you're so upset. You didn't want me to talk about the concert that we went to. You're upset about a little, it's a little messy here in the studio for some reason, from some previous show. And you're upset about this and that. I just got to tell you, don't worry, be happy. And that what this show is all about. Just relax. I know you got a hurt leg. Mr. Stock here is still injured, I should point out. He's still leg. Maybe you should take a few more pain pills or something and relax a little.
I'll do that. That's a great idea, Mr. Poe. But thank you, and we want to wear your shirt. We do want to wear your shirt, and we do want to tell everybody about your events or your art show or your business, whatever. We want to wear your shirt, so send them in to this cable tap station, and the address will be at the end of the show.
Roll up my sleeve.
Okay. And this looks like a new jacket, actually.
This is a jacket. Actually, it's kind of a famous jacket. It's not the first time this jacket's been on TV. It was on Miami Vice. Played a character named Fred Lifton. He was a beatnik artist, and I wore my own wardrobe. They let me wear my own wardrobe because the director liked what I wore so much, and I brought in some buttons. I brought in these buttons. I said, would you like me to wear any of these buttons? He said, put them all on, all of them. So they've been on this coat ever since.
Well, that's interesting.
So, there you go.
Thank you very much.
You asked. All right.
Let's get to our guests. Sam Ariff.
Hello, Mike. How you doing?
You are a comedy writer.
Right.
And this sounds like a silly question, but what do you do as a comedy writer?
I keep a day job. I keep a day job as a security guard, which is a state hospital with valet parking in a condo. Condos.
It gives you a lot of time to come up with material.
Oh, yeah. With condominiums, for sure.
So where do you come up with a lot of your ideas?
Well, I come up from anywhere. Just walking in the street and shopping centers or family. And I just want to say, Edgar, that's the best Hebrew harp I've ever heard. That is fantastic.
The Hebrew harp.
And I've done some performing. I just came back from a 5-city tour. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, Plantation, Opelika, Homestead, Perrine, Lauderhill. So I've been all over.
You've been around, traveling, traveling comedy writer.
Yeah, and every Sunday I on the Big A show on WDNA, and I do about 5 minutes of original stuff. In the middle of a jazz show.
On a jazz show.
Right.
So So how long does it take to write 5 minutes of original comedy material?
Well, you might have to write a lot of minutes just to get the good stuff. And a lot of times when you write, it might take an hour of nothing coming out, and then you might have a particularly good period of time. So it's hard to judge, but it's really hard to get 5 minutes. In fact, someone said that if someone's written a stand-up routine for themselves of an hour, it's like writing a novel.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Have you done stand-up before?
Yeah.
Is it actually that difficult to do?
It really is, because you have to, when you play comedy clubs, you have to reach a wide audience. So you have to get your material that'll reach a whole crowd. And then you have to pick and choose, and then sometimes you have a good joke that's topical. So you're always taking in and putting out, and it's really difficult.
One thing I don't like about stand-up comedy is that a lot of it is so negative and so derogatory. Do you do that?
I think I have to leave.
No, I mean, but we're not drunk.
Well,
we're not taunting you here.
A lot of not yet.
We might throw things at you though later on. We got lots of stuff.
Just don't throw Gumby at me here. a lot of
These are one of the softer things.
A lot of comedy is going to come off of negative and pain things because it's hard to do something if you've had a great meal and everything went well and you tipped the waiter and the car's starting and what's funny. You know, it's when you have bad experiences a lot.
So do you actually like bad experiences?
Is this one of them, Mike?
Yeah, on the show.
Well, I mean, sure. I'd like you to come up with a joke about the wonderful experience you're having here.
It's going to take about a month.
Well, we'll try to make it hard for you
let's
here.
talk about you talk about the Big A. Now, some people actually may know who the Big A is if they watch the show because we had him on as a guest a couple of weeks ago. But when is might as well tell us when the show is on.
Okay, well, it's on WDNA, the community radio station, and he's on every Sunday night from 6 to 9 at night.
Okay.
And around 8 o'clock, I go on and I do about 5 minutes.
You do it live or is it on tape?
Oh, it's live. In fact,
Or
we get a little audience in there in the control room.
Ah.
So
great.
it's a steady audience. I pay about $15 a piece, so it's working out.
About the same size as our studio audience here?
No, a little bigger. This is like a Greyhound bus bathroom with hot lights, but.
Okay, well, hey, say something funny.
That's the next show. And what I'm also doing is I'm getting together a joke column that I want to submit to papers, a regular column to have the jokes in print, and I've submitted a whole bunch of them to Miami News. I'm not going to get a rejection slip, am I?
Boy,
No.
that's a good one. Okay.
And I've been published in Popular Mechanics, Dalmatian Breeder, The Weekly Reader, so things are going good.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Okay. Start.
And I used to be right here in the building with Pandemonium. That's on WLR.
That's right. So you've done a lot of radio work. So when you write a joke, how do you sell it? How do you get it out? Besides your radio show that you do.
Well, like what I'm going to do now, there are some, like in the New York Post has Joey Adams, he has a joke column, and Mark Russell does it, and that's what I want to do. If not, you have to sell it to comics. So you have to go to the comedy clubs, and you have to find someone, and that's a really circular route to go.
It seems like it's a tough, I mean, the folk circuit is tough.
Yeah.
But the comedy circuit, although right now it seems to be experiencing some sort of success with all the HBO specials.
Well, there's
and
a lot of clubs.
There seems to be a lot of comics out there, too, that are struggling.
But if you're going to write for stand-ups, you usually go to L.A. or New York in that sense, because that's where all the comics are.
So what are you doing here in Miami?
Because I enjoy it here in Miami, and
I'm job as a security guard at the condo.
Oh.
You can't leave that.
Jeez. Yeah.
What are you kidding?
Cleaning up elevator 2 after the dogs are in it. It's a fantastic job. But, I'm pursuing the literary end of it. I'm doing some writing, and I want to publish, and I don't necessarily want to do the sitcom route.
Well, it seems to be a lot of hard work that you set up in front of you. How, when you say topical jokes, what kind of topical jokes do you have?
Okay, well, I have one on the Falkland Islands. That's doing real good.
Well, this show is on tape. Who knows?
Yeah,
we could say
it might
that's a
come back,
topical
you know.
joke.
Argentina might get mad again, and that's all stuff. Well, I've been doing things recently on the environment and Prince William Island. In fact, last night it happened again. A ship that had a cargo of Mountain Valley products hit a reef and spilled water all over the oil.
Oh no!
And in America it happened too. Not the Prince William Sound, in Detroit, in the Motown Sound, there was a spill.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in Miami Beach.
Well, I missed that. What happened
The
to
Motown Sound.
Yeah.
That was. I'm not going to explain it, Mike.
What kind of spill
Come
was that? I missed it.
I didn't get it either, Mr. Sock. This guy's a little too intellectual, I think. He's like
Well,
that poet. We
wait a
might as well
minute.
get that poet back on.
You want to get dirty?
So what after the Motown Sound?
And the other environmental news is my Aunt Sophie. She's causing a lot of trouble in Miami Beach. She's using too much hairspray, and it's ruining the ozone layer. And we call it the Greenberg effect. See how I made him forget the Motown Sound?
That was good.
Yeah.
And what could be more topical than our great government that we live here, especially our vice president?
That's always good for a laugh.
Well, actually, Quayle is much more sophisticated than people think. At a big state dinner, he wanted a really nice béarnaise sauce on his Fruit Loops. And if President Bush should die in office, we'll need training wheels on the presidency, I think. And there is no Cliff Notes for the Constitution, so Mr. Quayle's in trouble. And I do some folk jokes, too.
Folk jokes.
Yeah.
Folk joke.
Well, I think
Well,
that's
it's like a
better.
long 17-minute introduction to a 2-minute joke, you know, that my grandpappy gave me. He handed down to me. See, I have a cousin, Morty, and he wants to be a folk singer, and his parents want him to be a doctor. So I'm writing some songs for him so we can combine the experience, like Puff the Magic Internist, If I Had a Stethoscope, Alice's HMO, Stick Out Your Tongue, Tom Dooley. I think we can combine these experiences.
Mothers don't let your sons grow up to be respiratory technicians.
Right, that one too.
Well, that's good. So you have any? So
We're on a roll now, huh?
Before we go
Okay.
any further, Sam, you have any jokes you want to tell us?
I got a really joke. Somebody called me a week and a half to come on some show, and I thought it was going to be an opportunity, you know?
Surprise!
And here we are in Miami with all the cultural events, the different varieties of ethnics, and I've rewritten some more songs for them. And I've also opened up the first Spanish Jewish deli. It's in South Beach. It's Pumpernia's. We have a rose cone matzo ball, which is excellent, and you get a really bad corazon burn, and the gefilte guava is great.
Well, I think that's good. I think you're onto something there.
Yeah.
I hope I get it cured.
How do you know when your joke is original? I mean, how do you know it's not? You didn't pick it up from somewhere else.
Well, that's hard. Once in a while you get what's called parallel development, and you might get something that someone else, you either heard it or even two people can think of something, but most of the time you know. And I haven't stolen a joke in at least 2 days, so it's no
Oh,
problem.
that's a good record. Well, thank you, Sam. And so we could hear you every Sunday night on
Every
WDNA
Sunday night
Radio.
on the WDNA.
So what's the deal with Pandemonium? You're not with Pandemonium
No, I'm not with him anymore.
Had a falling out, did you?
Well, no, we just went our separate ways. It's there was 2 big split-ups. It was Martin and Lewis, and I left Pandemonium, but people are getting over it.
Okay.
Okay. We had a Pandemonium member also on here.
Gary, right?
Yeah, Gary, yeah.
Well-
Yeah, he was talking about you. Yeah, he mentioned it. You're not going to have that guy.
No.
Well, at least there's no bad blood. Or then again,
No.
the bad
Sounds
blood
like
could
it
be
might
good for some
No,
comedy.
there's no
Yeah, you
bad-
like negative experiences.
We
Maybe
got
you can
along
make jokes
fine, you
about,
know. Our lawyers are talking, and there's no
Oh,
problem.
that's good. Okay, that's good. Our other guest this program is Jim Collier. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Michael. Nice to be here.
Thank you for coming. Now, you've been a musician for quite some time.
Yes, I have. Most of my adult life, which started like a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yes. Are you a full-time musician, or do you have a?
Yes, I am a full-time musician. I am a writer, I would have to say more than that, but I have performed off and on throughout the years in various groups of people, here, there, you name it, I've been there.
That's right. Let's might as well
Cupcake,
hear a little
Iowa?
sample here. And you
All
have a
right.
tune?
Yes, I have a tune.
Okay.
And should I make this a tune that I've written?
Yeah, well, make it original. Yeah.
All right.
It's a new traditional type program we have, and we'd like to have new traditional, original music.
Okay, I hope this is not going to interfere. Is that fine? That's fine.
It's fine.
I would gladly take your place. I would gladly run your race. If your day-to-day just seems too much to feel. But I'll get all your good times too. And I won't leave none for you. Now, that ain't my price. That's just what I'll make on the deal. You say the sun by day is too bright and the moon's too cold at night. And there were some things in this world you just weren't meant to feel. But that sun gives light to me, and the moon, she just lets it all be. Now, that ain't me talking. That's just what I'll make on the deal. It's just another side to that same old situation. That's all. Just another spot and a different point of view. So sure, gladly take your place. I would gladly run your race, because I know how out of place a heart can feel. And I'll get all your good times too. That's that old catch-22. Now that ain't my catch. That's just what I'll make on the deal. Yes, I'll get all your good times too. Now that's that old catch-22. Now that ain't my catch, world. That's just what I'll make on the deal. There you go.
That's beautiful.
Thank you very much.
I noticed there you've got the guitar set, sort of like Elvis used to have a guitar on stage a lot of times, but he never would play it. It was sort of like a prop. But I see you play the guitar, but you've got a guitar strap that's not hooked up to anything. It's
That's true. I'm glad you noticed that, because it's just something that I always do. I've never worn this guitar strap. I have another one that I wear if I'm going to stand up.
Yeah.
That's the way I use it.
It looks really nice, though. It goes with...
It's a new tradition that I'm trying to establish among players.
I want to question you on your guitar. If we, how long have you had that guitar?
I've had this guitar for, I have owned it for about, I guess, maybe 10 years. But it goes back a little further than that.
Well, what's the history of it?
Well, this is, I got it off of a friend of mine, and the guitar was born in about 1939. It's one of the sought-after guitars. It's one of those Martin herringbone guitars, and it's got a real warm, beautiful tone that just feels so good to hold up against you and to feel it when you play.
It doesn't look that good, though.
No. As a matter of fact,
Not like that strap. That's why he wears the strap.
I got to tell you, when I first got this guitar, I was showing it to a guy. I was playing the guitar, and I was just like, I was somewhere in the clouds, just with the opportunity of having the guitar and holding it next to me and playing it, and I was just somewhere else. It just felt so great. This guy said, "So," he says, "that guitar," he says, "I don't know." He says, "It looks really screwed up to me." He said, "If I were you, I'd paint it white." So I just loved that. But I've somehow managed to keep it in its original state. I don't know. I just love it. It just sounds so good to me.
Yeah. That would get back to that song that you was just saying. What was the name of that song?
That's Just What I'll Make on the Deal is the name of that song.
That's a beautiful song. It sounded like it was. How old is this song? When did you write that?
A few years ago.
Just a few years ago.
Yeah.
Have you recorded it at all?
No, I haven't, but I am soon to record that. I'm going to start working on a record here in the end of May, and that will be one of the songs that I'm going to be featuring on that record.
Do you have when you make a record, is it going to be all original tunes?
Yes, it is.
Well, that's
all original.
All original.
It's going to be a new tradition that I'm trying to establish here.
I like that. I like that. New tradition.
Let's get that name in as much as we can here. New traditions. Do you do any comedy songs? We had a comedy writer
Let me see. Well, I mean,
any funny ones? Sort of in keeping with the theme of the show.
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
But you don't want to do it now, though.
I would have to look at my long list of things that I have in my bag. I mean, I might do that in just a minute or two.
We got to kill time while you look?
Well, maybe
we can talk
Sam.
about that concert.
Well, that's Sam. Do you want to kill some time?
I thought I already did.
Say, let's grab that bag over here and.
What bag? Oh, all right. Well, let's talk about that concert.
Yeah, just give me that bag real quick. Give me that thing here.
This is the concert that Michael Stock doesn't want me to talk about. So
Well, I don't want. Here you go, Jim.
Thank you, Michael.
Oh,
jeez. Oh.
sort of a touchy subject, but you know, I think this is an issue we should address. We haven't really talked about women's music per se, and a lot of our listeners out there probably don't know what women's music is, and I was sort of ignorant about it, although I've been to a few women's music concerts without really knowing that they were, quote, women's music. So I went to see Sweet Honey in the Rock, a great a cappella group that sings all kinds of different things. And
so what is women's music, Alan?
You're Mr. Folk, Mr. Stock, aren't you going to tell me? I thought you could explain it. But I have some albums here, or rather you brought in some albums. It's funny, you didn't want me to talk about the concert, but yet you brought in these albums.
Well, that's because you requested them, Mr. Poe.
Yeah. Well, what we did was we went to a Washington Sisters concert, which is sort of like, they're sort of like
Sweet Honey in the Rock, except there's only 2 of them.
It was a great concert.
Great concert,
Great
excellent
concert.
music, and I have this album myself, as does Mr. Folk. This is his, but it's great stuff. And I went to the concert without really knowing much about it, except that I like the album. But lo and behold, Mr. Stock and I, we get there, we're the only men in the whole place, anywhere. I mean, within a whole, like a 2-mile radius of the Miami Way Theaters where it was. And
It was an interesting. I didn't expect to be the only man at the concert, but
you weren't.
it was
I was
a.
there, too.
But like I say, I was the. It was an interesting experience being the only men at this concert, and
Yeah, and our friend Mark Weiser was there.
our
too.
friend Mark Weiser was there, and it was a good concert.
It
but
was great.
It was refreshing to see a concert
Yeah.
like this in Miami, where all women attended.
Yeah, and Mark and I, we like to go we go to concerts, we like to get right down close to the performers so we can see facial expressions and eyes and all that. And so we went right down front, and at intermission, Michael Stock, Mr. Sensitive, a snag. Isn't that what you are? A sensitive new age guy. He felt like we were separating the women on stage from the women in the audience, and we shouldn't be sitting in the front, so we had to go move into the back. And that got a little more embarrassing, because you see these women, at these women concerts, are all of, should we say,
Lesbians.
sexually ambiguous?
Lesbian women who
Lesbian.
attended these shows.
Yeah, and you should explain that they don't like that lesbian is a preferred.
Well, they prefer lesbian.
Yeah.
That's what they are. They're
Yeah.
lesbians.
Yeah.
And they attended this concert, and it was for them.
So
and
I felt
being
like-
the only men there was a little bit
I
uncomfortable.
felt like being in the back, that we were like spying on them. So Mark and I, we moved back right up front, so we wouldn't be, so they could do whatever they wanted behind us, and we wouldn't be privy to it.
so Alan, why did you bring this up? Why did you have to mention this?
Because we had to kill time. So here's Holly Near. This is the most popular of the women's music movement, right? She's the
She was
she's
one
the
of
most popular, yeah.
She was one of the forerunners of women's music.
Yeah.
Yes.
And here we have Frank. Wait, Mr. Stock. I thought you were going to bring in just women's music here.
This is a woman. This is a woman named Frank.
Oh, this is a woman.
And this is more or less a public service because it's important that the
someone,
audience knows that this music is
Here's another
available.
picture of her. Oops. Okay, Frank.
Well,
Let's
we'll
go to
finish,
San Francisco
Alan,
for
we
a
finished
weekend.
with
Wendy
this little
Carlos.
service.
Wendy Carlos. Is that women's music?
Wendy
Carlos used to
Carlos.
be Walter Carlos.
Walter Carlos. He had a sex change. That's
He
why
had a
we
sex
mentioned that.
change, and so does that make him women's music? Just get a sex
Are we
change?
finished yet, Alan Poe? Are we?
Well, we'll do this real fast. This woman I've never heard of, so we won't talk about her. Cripps Williams.
Get the sex change, Michael.
Cripps Williamson. Now, this one I've heard of. And I'd like to point out that it says this album was produced with the help of the following women. Almost all of these albums, all the technicians, all the sound people, they're all women.
All
There's
women.
no men on the album anywhere.
Oh,
They
that's
don't-
changing
they don't-
recently. That's changing in recent times.
And here's a couple of girls that are kind of funny looking. They look.
No, those are two guys.
Those are 2 guys.
This is a gay album, like
Gay
the lesbian albums. These are gay albums. So
Gay
these are just so people who are interested
You
in this
slipped these
type
in
of
on me,
music.
Mike.
There are support groups.
Give
there are
me a
music out there for you.
homosexual, a sodomy song. What kind of stuff? What kind of
Romanesque
self-respecting
and
faggot
Phillips.
am I? I don't even like to say
That's
that
the
word on
name.
TV.
That's the name of the song, Alan. Let's
heard that
get
on
going.
Y100
All right, let's
last
go.
week.
Okay.
All right, so we were going to ask you to play a song before Alan Poe here interrupted
I was asked to
us.
kill time. I did it. Let's go.
Okay.
You ready? You want some water? Are you
Now,
okay? You want a little bit of water
I'm
here?
fine,
You're
thanks.
comfortable? All right.
This is a different kind of song. It's got like a lot of audio humor, I guess I'd have to call it if I was going to call it. Oh, darling, please come home. I'm lonely. You've been gone almost all night. I want to throw my arms around you and hold you tight. I want to take you to my heart, but it's you I'm thinking of. Darling, please come home. I'm lonely for your love. Oh, darling, please come home. I'm lonely. You've been gone almost all night. I want to throw my arms around you and hold you tight. I want to take you to my heart, but it's you I'm thinking of. Darling, please come home. I'm lonely for your love. I'm waiting for the sight of the headlights to come into view. And I'm standing looking out of my window, darling, and no one else will do. I want to take you to my heart, but it's you I'm thinking of. Darling, please come home. I'm lonely for your love. Oh, darling, please come home. I'm lonely for your love. Oh, darling, please come home. I'm lonely for your love.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
That was great.
Usually that thing that people get by banging their guitar, don't they?
Did you hear that?
Oh no, it does.
I fooled you.
You're a ventriloquist, right? It was really you're hitting the guitar, but making it sound like it came out of your mouth.
That's right. I was doing my voice before and fooled you out.
Okay.
Sam, do you have any last jokes?
Well, I was in the Grove last week, the trendiest place in America, and it's the only place in the world where the homeless read Architectural Digest. Now you want last joke?
Oh gosh, you're slaying me, man. Woo! No more.
It's a tough road.
Okay.
Is he out of time? Are we out of time? How much time do we have left?
Well, okay.
An hour today.
It's an hour today. Yeah.
I think
Let's
that
talk
does
more
it.
about that concert.
No, I think that does it, Alan. I think we could say goodbye and be thankful that it's time to leave. This has been New Traditions, and we're here every week. Same channel, same station, same time, and same people, Alan Poe and myself.
Yeah.
And send in those T-shirts, folks. Ready for our closing theme?
Yes, I am, Mr. Stott.
Okay.
You know
Actually,
I'm
Jim, you
always ready.
want to play a closer here?
All right.
Just go ahead. Just play anything you want.
Deep inside my heart does dwell a wishing well, and I wonder if your heart can tell that in this world I wish you well. Deep inside the wishing well, boom, 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 a magic kind of heart does dwell. And I know that magic heart can tell that in this world I wish you